Good morning, one and all. This is the Grants Advisory Committee meeting, 27th July, 10 o'clock. Welcome to everybody, officers and those online, and the hundreds of people from the members of the public. So, thank you. Moving on then, so first of all, agenda item number 1, apologies for absence.
Thank you, Chair. No apologies for absence, although we currently don't have the lead cabinet member for resources with us.
Thank you. And agenda item 2, declarations of interest from my councillor colleagues. I have one, and it will be in agenda item number 4, which is the Care Together seed funding for mobile and community warden schemes. I'm a trustee of the Melbourne Mobile Warden Scheme. So I can probably need to take some advice, actually. It seems that we've already done all this before, and this is just the sign-off. Do I still have to leave the room? Over to you.
I think, Councillor, based on the last meeting where we had you withdraw for the bit pertaining to Melbourne, but you were back for the second half of the recommendation, which is what we're discussing today, so I don't see any need to withdraw, but the declaration is noted. Thank you.
Councillor Ellington.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm a member of the Community Warden Scheme for Swavesey, and I'm also notification of the application from Swavesey Parish Council for biodiversity, and I haven't had any dealings with it, but have noted it as a parish councillor.
Thank you very much. Okay, nothing else, move on. Agenda item number 3, it's the minutes of the previous meeting. Did you need to say something on this one, Lawrence?
Yes, please, Chair. Do forgive me. First set, kindly had some review from officers that came in after I published, so I will display the changes on screen, and no, that's the wrong one. Apologies. If the committee is content with the changes, we can go for the minutes as displayed. In 1 second, sorry. Right, so with minute 6, changes as written in blue. Can everyone see that okay?
No.
It looks really good.
It's pretty blue, but the words in it are more difficult.
That's fine. Yeah.
So that's changes to minute 6, and then just a couple of tweaks to minute 7. Yep. And then if members had any further comment.
Everybody okay with the changes? They look pretty operational stuff, so that's good. Yeah. Okay, that's perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So I'll just go over this thing, bearing those in mind. So page 3 of your agenda, which will be page 1 of the minutes, page 2, page 3, and the last bit, page 4. Anyone got anything to say? If not, can I sign them off?
Yep.
Thank you very much. Here we go. Agenda item number 4. I'm looking over to our officer colleagues. You, Emma, for this one?
Yeah.
In that case, Care Together seed funding for mobile and community warden schemes. Over to you. Thanks.
Thank you, Chair. So this is item 4 on page 7, the Care Together seed funding for mobile and community warden schemes. As you'll know, this was deferred from last month. You'll also know that a decision was made to administer a direct grant of £7,500 to the Melbourne Mobile Warden Scheme. This is for taking over the management of the Harston District Village Warden Scheme, Trust, sorry. The remaining £21,000, the decision on this was deferred. We initially said that we would like to run a one-off grant scheme. We've recently met with the lead officer for the Cambridgeshire County Council Care Together team, and we discussed alternative options for the use of this funding, including the option, as discussed in last committee, to coordinate promotion centrally without the need to run a grant scheme. We've checked the grant agreement, we've spoken to them. They intend this particular fund to reach individual organisations for them to seek innovative ways to promote their own schemes. So we would still recommend that we still run the grant scheme as proposed this time, but what we've done in the papers, we've put some amendments into the criteria to provide clear examples of alternative methods of promotion. If you look on page 13, there's a few examples that we've provided. I'd just like to note that it's important to note that the community warden schemes are run independently of the county and district councils, and we have and will have different funding needs. For example, one scheme might have already carried out a promotional campaign, but could instead apply for additional warden hours or provide a number of free introductory taster sessions. We believe that in the criteria there's enough options available for the warden schemes in the district. Officers at this council and also at Care Together team at County Council will continue to play a role in promoting and supporting the schemes, and where appropriate will facilitate opportunities for district-wide promotion and discussion with other potential funders of the schemes. And as you'll know, we're commissioning an independent organisation known as Rose Regeneration, and they're currently evaluating the social value and costs that could be avoided in other parts of the health and social care system by providing mobile warden schemes. So the results of this evaluation will hopefully also provide some further insights into how schemes can increase numbers of service users. I hope that's enough information for you. I'd like to welcome your comments. Thank you.
Thanks, Emma. First of all, thank you very much for going back to county for us and what have you, and coming back with their answer. Any comments, Councillor Enton?
I fear that our proposal, having found that our proposal from last time has not been accepted by the county, I would point out that every single example on page 13 of what you might do has been tried and done several times in my particular mobile warden scheme, and therefore I have some doubts as to whether throwing £2,000 at it will make one iota of difference. However, I wish to ask whether, as Age UK runs the whole community warden scheme on behalf of several organisations, whether they might be allowed to submit an application on behalf of the 9 community warden schemes that they run, so that they can use their publicity campaign together to support the community warden schemes that they're responsible for.
Thank you, Councillor Enton. Anybody else? I'll jump in while you're thinking. I kind of echo what Councillor Enton has been saying, actually. It's when we had our workshop, as you were there, Emma, and Catherine, there was quite a lot of discussion about this, actually, with future funding and what have you. And without blowing one's trumpets too loud, we've been doing this as schemes for quite a number of years and are quite good at it. Hence, you'll see the figures and what have you that came out. Age UK is starting out in that process, and power to their elbow, they're doing what they're doing, that's fine. But the big thing is the funding, and bring and buy sales and selling cheap tat on your front of your house to raise funds is not the way forward for this. And if the system, the ICS, or you call it the ICB, and County Council Adult Social Services, want schemes which are going to keep people out of residential care and save them money, they need to think out of the box. It's as simple as that. Myself, I'll go along with the recommendation, but as with your good self, I'm very much dubious that this will be of any benefit at all. I think they're chucking money down the drain, frankly. Thanks. Councillor Hanley?
Yeah, thanks, Chair. I agree with you. I'm happy to vote in favour of this paper, but I think there's still a lot of work that needs to be done particularly with the ICS. I think until we get a really joined up system, there's always going to be struggle.
Actually, we both mentioned the ICS now twice. Is this something this committee would like, actually? And I would quite like it. If we were to ask, it may not necessarily be here, it might be in a workshop perhaps, but to ask a fairly senior member of the ICS to come along, or some of their members of staff to come along and say, this is what we do. What you need to do is to put your hand in your pocket. You don't have to go too deep. We don't need masses of money. We just need an amount. Councillor Hanley.
I think that's a great idea. We should wait until we get the data from the, I forget the name of the company. Yeah. So I will wait until we get the data and then ask them to come and speak with us.
Superb. Anybody else to speak? Councillor Sanford.
So we're proposing to defer this again until we've heard from the ICS? Okay, we'll go through with this, but two separate activities.
Yeah, this needs to be done, otherwise this is going to be lost. So we need to do what county have. They kindly put the money over to us, which is great. So we just need to play ball, and we'll play ball. But I think we've noted our feelings. We've deferred it once with our feelings, and now we're very vocal on this one. And obviously our excellent officers are very much aware of this. So can I take it as a recommendation then that it's noted basically, isn't it? And this is it's noted, isn't it? Recommended, noted as per the recommendations to lead member for resource. That's a yes from us then. Thanks. Okay, agenda item number 5. So this is the, for those not familiar with Emma Dyer, this is the Emma Dyer show, right? So, although we have got another act coming on later on, right? So, agenda item number 5, community chest funding applications. Over to you, Emma. Thanks.
Thank you, Chair. So you'll be pleased to know we have 5 applications this month. They total £4,971.95, one of which is a biodiversity project. So on to page 25, we have Bar Hill Village Hall. This is a well-used community building that allows local residents to take part in a variety of activities. These include keep fit classes, bingo, live music events and private parties. As can be seen in the photo, the current floor is bubbling up in several places and poses a health and safety risk. Total costs to uplift and remove the existing floor, screed and supply and lay a new vinyl floor are £8,883.18 plus VAT, and £2,000 has been requested from the community chest. The parish council will be contacted to see if they can provide part funding, but they've said that the shortfall can be met from their own reserves, the village hall reserve, shall I say, should additional funding not be possible. We have support from Councillor Bunty Waters. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Emma. Colleagues, this seems very much within the scope of our remit, and obviously Councillor Bunty Waters has supported it very much so from her words. Anyone got any comments? Can I assume that we're going to approve? Yep. Recommend? Thank you. Emma?
Thank you. Page 26, we have the Wilbrahams. They're a group of volunteers based in Great and Little Wilbraham and 6 Mile Bottom. They give support to people and their carers experiencing mental ill health. All of their initiatives are provided free to ensure equal access for all. There's some examples of the work that they've included. Some of the examples of the work they've done are educational evenings and maintaining the village orchards, coffee mornings, sports days, etc. You can see those on the paper. And what they would like to do is deliver 3 days of multi-sports activities combined with creative mindfulness sessions, and that's for local children aged 4 to 11, and that's during the summer holidays. 2 specialist facilitators will run the sessions along with volunteers from the Wilbrahams. Total costs are £1,500 and £1,300 has been requested from the community chest. You can see the breakdown of the required amounts for the trainers and the practitioners. Little Wilbraham Parish Council are contributing the remaining £200. And just one thing to note, I did share this application with our physical activity coordinator at the council, and he's offered to attend the sessions as well as to offer any help, support and delivery where needed. He said he could also deliver some basic and introductory information on healthy eating, with some activities around this, which is definitely interlinked with mental health and wellbeing. We have support from Councillor Graham Cone and Councillor Carla Hoffman. Thank you.
Thanks, Emma. Before I go to the floor, the paragraph under the bullets on page 27 that says Young Minds website says 1 in 6 children identified as having a mental health problem in 2020 and only 1 in 3 actually being diagnosed. I'm actually thinking it's actually worse than that. I've seen figures that are worse. So this looks like a real good one. Comments from my colleagues, Bill Hanley?
Thanks, Chair. Yeah, very, very supportive of this. It sounds a fantastic project. In fact, I'd quite like to hear what the outcome is, see how the day goes, maybe at a subsequent meeting, even if it's just a 2-minute, this happened, here are some photos.
Excellent. As soon as we got, the reason we haven't had people in is we've had some really serious agendas, so we wouldn't have had the time, but we can. I think Emma's nodding yes, that's great. Councillor Sunita.
Sorry about that. I think each bit of information they've given of what they're going to do is excellent, and I think I would fully support it because I wish there were more projects like this.
Thank you. But I think we're going to vote on this. That's a lovely nod through. And if you could pass on our thanks and wish them every success. Thanks.
Thank you, I will do. Page 28, we have Cottenham Community Centre. This is another well-used building, providing a benefit to around 300 plus individuals on a weekly basis. And at this building, the Cottenham Knitting Group is one of the local groups that obviously use the centre. The 15 members of the group make lots of items for various charities and individuals in need, locally and beyond. Examples of items knitted by the group are hats and mittens for babies at the Rosie Hospital and cat blankets for Wood Green Pets charity. The knit and natter sessions also provide a much needed social benefit to those that attend. So the community centre has asked members to make a small donation to cover the cost of heat and light for these sessions, and this is £1.50 per weekly session. But due to the significant increases in the cost of wool materials and the cost of living pressures, the group are no longer able to fund these materials or the postage that is needed to send them out and the packaging as well. So this works out at around £250 a year. And all of this has been requested from the community chest, so they can keep running until at least the summer of 2024. We have support from 2 councillors, Councillor Eileen Wilson and Councillor Annika Osborne. Thank you.
Thank you, Emma. So this is very close to my heart because I know you're all thinking with what I'm about to say is that can't possibly be true. He's not old enough, but come October, I will be a grandfather. And so hats, mittens and bags for babies seem to be very much in my focus at the moment. So I think this is it really is fabulous, to be fair, what they're doing here. And it's for pittance if you look at what they've asked for. So, Councillor Hanley.
Thank you, Chair. I thought you were going to explain how proficient you are at knitting, but sorry, so I'm quite disappointed actually. Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would say here is, what about the parish council? They don't appear to be provided information. I wonder if Emma can enlighten us.
I believe I don't know if they have approached them. I think it's because it's a very small amount. They probably just thought they would try community chest.
it's a good point. Perhaps we, if we are minded to approve, which I'm not looking at anyone saying no, perhaps we could put a little love note back in there to say, really, parishes should be sorting them in. This is a drop in the ocean for the parish, frankly, and it would have been much more beneficial to the parish to fund it rather than us. So, you know, from a publicity point of view. So, anyway, I think we're minded to go with it anyway, so that'd be fine. But just for that little love note, that'd be great. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. So page 29, we have the Edge Community Youth Club. This is in Comberton, and it's attended by around 50 young people in years 7 to 13. It is a free club and provides a place to meet, activities and somewhere to find support. What the club would like to do is to enhance their craft provision. So crafting is a very good focused activity for young people struggling with anxiety and social, emotional and mental health. And this helps them to engage with adults and other young people. Total project costs are £1,092 £92.24 for a variety of different art and craft materials, and all of this is being requested from the community chest. The parish council already funds 3 sessional youth workers at a cost of £3,750, and the Comberton Baptist Church provides 2 additional adult volunteers. They've said that recycled materials will be used where appropriate, and any other leftover materials will be stored to be used in the future rather than thrown away. We have 2 councillors in support, Councillor Ariel Khan and Councillor Michael Atkins. Thank you.
Thank you. Colleagues? I think this is a yes. Yeah. I think you have resounding support from the councillors anyway, so it's great. And the parish councils got their hand in their pocket as well, so superb. I think that's a yes then from us. Thanks.
Thank you. And then on to page 31, we have our biodiversity application. So this is from Swavesey Parish Council, and what they'd like to do is create a community garden for residents to be located at the 1970s Carter's Way, Priory Avenue housing sites. So this is currently an empty area of public open space, and you can see that in the photographs. There's a lot of tarmac, sort of redundant sort of area. And what they would like to do is provide 5 large raised planting beds to encourage insects and pollinators back into the area. On the existing tarmac, painted games for younger children will be provided, similar to those often found in primary school playgrounds. A few of the surrounding walls will be painted with murals. As the area doesn't have a water supply, careful consideration will be given to the type of soil provided in the raised beds and the type of species of plants. Local residents are very much in support. They've also agreed to help water and maintain the planted areas. They've sought advice on planting, and the local biodiversity and sustainability community group are also involved in the project and will be able to use the new area for biodiversity and community activities. Total project costs are £1,770.08, and community chest grant funding of £329.71 has been requested for the raised herb garden part of the project, and also towards some plants for the other raised beds. The parish council are funding the remaining £1,440.08, and it is hoped that also some of the plants will be donated from local residents, and they're going to consider using soil from what's been dug out of a local wildlife pond in the community orchard. I've also shown this application to Siobhan, who's with us, and also John Cornell, our natural environment team leader. They've given their opinions as well, and Councillor Sue Ellington, you're also in support. Comments, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Emma. Councillor Ellington.
As I said, this is my patch. So I will say what I've said and then go away. The comment about wanting a clear commitment from the applicant to take into account the need of pollinated insects in deciding plant species. I have a reply here that I've got to find the right place, but we do really want to green this area up and increase biodiversity net gain there. maybe I should have stressed that more in the application. We will provide 5 large planting areas, so some ample space to increase biodiversity. The children's play part is minimal and has to be there, as that's what the area is registered for, but can be a lesser part. If you actually look at the pictures, there are no windows that overlook this area. So if you've got small children, you can't send them out to play on this area. It was a real mistake in planning, to be truthful. It's a large chunk of concrete. Concrete floor, concrete walls. Nobody wants the children to make a noise because it's their backyard, if you see what I mean. It impinges. And so they're trying to make it very much more an area where people can meet, can sit and drink coffee, can be a communal area rather than anything else. And it needs softening because it's just not acceptable as anywhere you want to go and sit in the sun or anything else at the moment until it gets some plants and flowers and things to make it happen. I'll shut up.
Councillor Hanley.
I know this area quite well. I used to live quite close to this many years ago. It does need brightening up, I agree, and it's a relatively modest sum, but I do question whether the biodiversity strand of funding is the right one for this, and it might have come out of the community chest, but I'm not going to argue over it. I think it's a relatively modest sum, and it should make a big difference to this particular area.
Councillor Hanraj.
So I appreciate what's been said about biodiversity, but I feel that when children are involved with planting and learning about herbs and that's of a great deal of value. And as Bill says, it's really, it's not much to ask for.
Thank you. Councillor Sanford.
Thank you, Chair. I'm just trying to work out how much they're actually applied for. Total project costs
100 and something.
300 something. 329. Okay, which seems a reasonable amount for the obvious vast improvement to this area. So I'm inclined to support.
It's a good point that Bill's just raised with regards to the monies, if you like, coming out of the zero carbon or the whatever it is, sorry. Yeah, biodiversity, sorry, or community chest. So
that was something I was sort of
can we
debating on.
Can we move it across and take it out of the community chest?
We could do that, whatever you think.
Yeah,
I just
mean,
thought
it is
because
a
of the
much more,
biodiversity element.
Siobhan would be happier. I mean, it's only 329 quid, Siobhan, for heaven's sake. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll speak. Yeah, as a precedent, it probably is better coming from the community chest than the biodiversity because it's not as clear-cut in that biodiversity pot.
I can move it, it's fine.
If you wouldn't mind doing that, then, and could you notify them that obviously we've done it, and obviously that then affects their ability to come back to the community chest, because you can only have up to £2,000, can't you? So they can only come back for 1,600 and something now. So, yeah. All right, thanks. So that's an approval, yeah? Lovely. Okie doke. Right, so we're moving on to agenda item 6. But before we do, I understand that someone in this room is leaving the business and going somewhere else. Yes. And that is Siobhan Mellon. Right. And Siobhan was one of the first officers who I came across, so to speak, when I first came here in 2010, and I'm sure you a bit before me, Sue. I'd just like to say thank you for all the help and support and advice that you've offered me personally and of the rest of us over the time, and wish you well in whatever you're going to be doing. We will miss you terribly. So before I burst into tears, I think that's about as much as I'm going to say. So if anybody else wants to say anything, then crack on. Right. Now we've done that bit, if you want to go, Siobhan, and pack, you know. Thanks, Emma. Right, so we have a new officer in the name of Orla. Orla? Yeah, so it's, you're going to be presenting this item for us, and over to you, thanks. Have you logged on with your card?
Lovely. All right. Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you all. So, yeah, this is round 5 of the Zero Carbon Communities grant scheme. Just before we kick off properly, I could just direct your attention to page 49 and 50 of your reports pack, just some corrections to make. So, Land Beach Village Hall, the amount applied for is actually £15,000. Which does adjust the total funding recommendation to £25,900.67. However, that £900 over the allocation for this grant scheme can be absorbed by an underspend from a previous project from round 1, so that's accounted for. So that's that first error, just to point out. And then the second one, I'm afraid, is Townley Memorial Hall. I've put in the funding recommendation column £4,000. That is £0. We're not recommending them for funding. They are unshaded, but yeah, I thought I'd just clarify that to start. But yeah, are you right to share the slides, Lawrence? Thank you. Okay, so I do have some quick slides just to bounce through to start. So yeah, as I said, this is the 5th round of the scheme, and exciting that after the funds are awarded for this round, we will have spent £500,000 over 5 rounds. So we've got some exciting sort of comms planned around that as a celebration. And obviously, the purpose of this grant scheme is to help community groups tackle climate change on a very local level. So the total pot for this round was £125,000, and that includes the 25% uplift that was agreed by members for this round. To increase the funding for this kind of community-led carbon reduction scheme. So yeah, applications were open 3rd of April to 2nd of June, and community groups were invited to apply for between £1,000 and £15,000 under 2 categories. So the first is carbon reduction, or looking up carbon, and the second is community engagement around climate change. So yeah, this is just a breakdown of the scoring criteria. So yeah, they're scored against 3 criteria, the first of which is how they meet the category that they've entered into the grant scheme under, so the carbon reduction or the community engagement, and then what additional value they contribute, so how much funding the organisation has found to put towards it, and any experts they've consulted or collaboration between different organisations. And the third is how sustainable is a project, like what is its lifetime impact. So yeah, if you'd like to click on, Lawrence, thank you. Okay, so overall, £200,641 were requested from 18 separate applications and 16 organisations. So we did have 2 organisations this time, Cambridge Carbon Footprint and Swavesey Squash Club, who submitted 2 applications each. And yeah, there was a really diverse, exciting range of projects, including the sort of areas that I've listed there. So yeah, if we could go on, please. So yeah, this is a breakdown of our funding recommendation in the carbon reduction category. Just a few notes on our scoring methodology, just so you understand the kind of like process that went behind this, is that so in the carbon reduction category, we used a metric of the kilograms of CO2 equivalent saved per pound of funding requested. Obviously, community engagement is slightly harder to quantify. We did have some numerical indicators, like how many people they kind of said they were going to directly reach and how many would be sort of like more loosely influenced, but that was kind of more down to officer judgment. But yeah, so returning to this category, so a £69,805 spend recommended between 6 projects. So 3 of those are solar PV and 1 cavity wall insulation. one lighting upgrade and one electric vehicle. The details of the project not recommended for funding and the rationale for why those aren't funded, you can find those in Appendix C of the report, and I'm happy to answer any questions on those. So yeah, and if we move on to the last slide. So yeah, this is a sort of breakdown of the recommendation for the community engagement projects. So a total of £56,095 spent in this category from 3 different organisations. No, yeah, that's right, because there's 2 from Cambridge Carbon Footprint. Both the top scoring projects in this community engagement category, and both aligning very well with the council's own work. Firstly, with the Repair Cafe with our current food waste campaign, well not food waste, but like the waste campaigns running at the minute, and the second, the thermal imaging and home energy support project, aligns really nicely with the work that we do in the climate environment team as part of the Cambridgeshire Energy Retrofit Partnership. And then Cambridge Sustainable Food, their food projects network, and then Let's Cook, their food education project. So those are the projects recommended for funding in the community engagement category. And yeah, that is the whistle-stop tour.
Thanks, Ola. That was great. Right, can we go to Councillor Harvey online, if that's okay? Over to you, Jeff.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes. Certainly can.
Okay, great. I just wanted to say that, because I remember in the early days, we sort of picked through these applications and sort of checked the scores and everything. I mean, I read through all the applications and looked at the scoring this morning, and have to say I would have scored exactly as the officers have here. So I think they've done a great job on that. It sort of interests and intrigues me every year that there are such variations in what seem to be the costs for very similar projects, and I wondered if as this continues on, hopefully year by year, we could provide some sort of starting sort of base information for applicants to kind of show them sort of the average. I mean, for PVs on community buildings, we've had a few of those now, so it might be useful to know in advance for people who haven't made the effort to look back through the minutes of previous meetings, what the sort of average cost is per kilowatt hours saved per year. Because some of these always seem to be sort of, you can get some applications that are literally double what other community organisations have achieved, which seems intriguing. And I suppose also the sort of metric you've used is interesting as well, because so that the metric for for example, the one at Milton, which was essentially a sort of intelligent controller, and as the officer report sort of points out, scores very poorly in terms of the amount of money that it would cost to do that, and they still end up with a gas boiler. So I think that metric might be useful to sort of, and I apologise if I did read the sort of application notes, but maybe it's in there and I sort of skipped over it. But I just thought that might be useful to help people for future applications. That was all.
Thank you very much, Councillor. Yeah, we can expand guidance to maybe include some estimations around averages for solar PV projects. It is worth mentioning that some of these projects are part funding through the ZCC grant, and some of them are contributing quite a lot of funding themselves to do larger sort of solar arrays. So that can throw off that metric a little. But yeah, thanks very much for that feedback.
Thanks, Councillor Harvey. Anyone got any other questions for Ola and Siobhan? Because we won't get much out of Siobhan after the next couple of weeks. Okay, in that case.
Peter wanted to.
Oh, Peter, big pardon.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. The electric van, £20,000 seems like a very low sum for any vehicle, let alone an electric van. Have they actually got quotes on that?
Yeah, they should have included quotes in their application. I can check that and forward those on to you.
Okay.
Oh, it's a second-hand electric van as well, as worth mentioning.
Okay, that does make a difference, thank you.
Yeah, second-hand.
Thank you.
Thanks. Right. How would you like us to do this? I know the member for Resource has seen these, and John Williams.
Yeah.
You there? You've been through these as well, yeah, John?
Yes, I've been through these, and I've spoken to Orla about, emailed Orla about some issues which I'm quite happy have been resolved. So I'm very happy that these go forward as recommended by the officers.
Okay. I'm just thinking what would be best if people are going to be listening to this. Then they probably need to hear them individually, I would think. Yes. So. Should we go, we just start at the top on your green, the Wising, yeah? So Wising Arts Centre, which was for 15,000, and I imagine that's a yes from us. Please sing out if it's a not. Duxford Community Centre, they've asked for 15,000, and that's what we're going to give them. Hope Against Poverty, 15,000, again, that's what's been granted. Swavesey Squash Club, that's for the cavity wall application. They asked for £1,484, and that's what they've been awarded. Milton Community Centre, £8,321.67, and that's what they've been awarded. Now, Lamb Beach Village Hall should be 15,000, and that's what they've been awarded. So if you're watching Lamb Beach, it's not 14, it's a 15. And Cambridge Carbon Footprint Repair Cafes, they've asked for 15, and they're getting 15. Cambridge Carbon Footprint Thermal Imaging, they've asked for £11,095, and that's what's been awarded. Cambridge Sustainable Food, 15,000, awarded 15,000. And Let's Cook Project, they've asked for 15,000 and been awarded 15,000. And I think that's that. So we'll take that as a block vote, if you like, yeah, for all of you. So can you look at me, everyone, and go nod?
Yeah, nod.
Yeah, everyone's nodding. That's fantastic. Thank you very much. In that case, John, that's all been approved. Councillor Linton.
Thanks very much.
Whether there was opportunity if some or any of these projects that have been awarded significant sums have a shortfall and don't spend it all, whether we could make a decision that that money will come back to us later on in the year, and we could look at one or perhaps others on the list and see whether it could be reallocated.
Over to Orla.
Yeah, definitely. So in the funding agreement, they are required to return any funds that they don't use, so those can be redistributed if that is the case, yeah.
In that case, you okay there, Councillor Harvey? Everything tickety-boo? Yep, brilliant. Thank you very much. Any points of order from you, Councillor Williams?
No, I'm quite happy.
Fantastic.
With
I
what
think
you've
it's
done.
been an
Thank you.
extremely successful meeting. Meet a new member of the team. We're losing an old member of the team, but that's just life. Yeah, the circle of life. Thank you. Yeah. They can make a film about that, couldn't they? Right. Just our best wishes, Siobhan. It really is.
Yeah.
It's been a huge pleasure working with the Grants Advisory Committee, and I wish you very well. I know that the Climate and Environment team is in very good hands, and so onwards and upwards. Thank you very much.
Thanks. All the best. Okay, that just leaves me the unenviable task of reading this note. Which bit? Oh, yeah, we're getting there. Date of next meeting will be 24th of August this year. Right, so if you're going on holiday, have a nice one. If you're not, hard luck. Okay, thank you very much. And it's goodbye to the thousands now of members of the public watching. Obviously, this is a very popular committee. And wish you well. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye.